Iowa State with a 6 or better finish will clinch. Only Iowa or Illinois have won this cup in the last 4 seasons.
No Purdue in lane 3 and no Kentucky in lane 6. So Northern Iowa, Minnesota, Iowa, Houston, Iowa State and Air Force, let's go. Final event of the Drake Relays 2019.
And Houston qualified fastest in a very fast 3:01.51. They will be in their distinctive red, so watch for them. They're in lane 5.
A strong start from Air Force out in lane 8. Seeing on screen there over Iowa State.
That's Zach Dickin, the sophomore. Iowa State led off by Gage Clay. There's Dickin. Clay giving chase.
Houston in the very familiar and easy to recognize all red, and then Iowa on the inside.
45 flat per man will give you 3 flat overall, so that tells you the kind of performance that Houston had in running 3:01.5 already this year. So they will hand off first. They will get around the turn first. That's Tremaine Jefferson, the senior. And they'll cut for the inside where he will find a streaking Minnesotan Elliott Davis. And Minnesota now into the lead. Houston in second.
And Minnesota in the lead for a short time. Back comes Houston.
Yeah, Houston having to remind Minnesota why they ran 3:01.5. That's a really early move by Minnesota. He's paying the price for it now up the home straightaway, but hanging on well though, because he will hand off in second, just ahead of Iowa. Houston with a big lead.
This is Quivell Jordan for Houston, leading the way and leading convincingly.
And if Houston continues on this pace, they're going to run faster than 3:01.5, because now they've opened up about a 10-meter gap on Minnesota and Iowa.
Now revisiting the story for Iowa State, 6th or better will clinch them the title. Now they're in 5th at the moment.
So all they have to do is to stay right where they are. And quite frankly, 6th Air Force is not close.
Anchor leg coming up. Houston in terrific shape.
To say the least, they have a 10-meter lead on Minnesota.
Tremaine Jefferson leads at the moment.
And this University of Houston team has really been buoyed by the return of Carl Lewis to his alma mater. Carl Lewis, of course, the former world record holder in the 100, multiple-time Olympic long jump champion. But he's a guru with the relays, as is Leroy Burrell, the head coach. And Houston has returned as a power in the collegiate ranks.
Houston's going to win the men's 4x400 in the High V Cup, but they will not win the High V Cup overall. Minnesota with a fine second over Iowa and Northern Iowa, and then Iowa State still coming to the line. But you know what? Even though they're at the back of this particular field, Iowa State has done enough to clinch the men's High V Cup for the very first time.
And all they have to do was finish, because we were reduced to a field of 6, and 6 or better would have given them enough points for the win. So here is Houston sort of casually getting across the line, with Minnesota giving chase. Iowa in 3rd. Northern Iowa would end up 4th. But in 5th, Iowa State clinches their very first IV Cup.
And the campus is only about 30 minutes away from where we are here at Drake University. So Houston win the race, but it's Iowa State that win the High V Cup.